What's up, everybody, and welcome to another podcast episode of the Limitless Podcast, where we talk all about spiritual stuff and mental health, mindset, manifestation, and so on and so forth. So, I hope you stay, I hope you like it, and let's freaking begin. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about one big factor that I feel like a lot of people that have at least struggled once with like mental health, that mental health requires continuous work. It's one thing, you know, how to say this or how to start this actually. I've read once, I think, or heard it at least, where somebody was like, how a lot of people think, for example, with depression, people think that, oh, you have depression, you overcome it, and never comes back. Sometimes, yeah, but like it's continuous work that you have to do on it and with it, you know. And generally, mental health requires continuous work. It doesn't just end. It's not like, oh, you did your whatever, your prayers, you did your meditation, you did your scripting, whatever it is, and you're like, okay, done for the year. No, no, listen. When you stop the work on your mental health, you go, as I would say, on autopilot, meaning you just forget it all. You just forgot what you learned, what changes you made, how you grew your mindset, for example, everything. Like I am, as always, speaking from experience. I'm gonna tell you an example. So I don't know, when was it? I think it was, 2020, when I was doing my certifications for like different modalities, from like life coaching to neuro linguistic programming and so on and so forth. As I was going through all of them, man, I cannot tell you, my mindset and my mental health was on a all time peak. I felt like I was on top of Mount Everest, untouchable. I felt like I was just living about above the clouds. I felt like all the clarity in my mind. I felt like I just understood. It felt like somebody just took off my freaking glasses and I just saw a whole new world. And I automatically just hear the fucking song sing in my head. Yes, a whole new world. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. But guess what? A big thing happened in my life where I got basically dragged into something that I didn't want to be included in, but it just happened, which basically turned around my entire life for a lot of months. And I stopped what I was doing. Like I said, I was on top of Mount Everest. That's how I felt, like obviously I'm speaking metaphorically. And then as I was going through things and whatever, and as I came out of it, I forgot about everything. Like everything that I've, learned before, what I was hearing, what I read, it almost felt like I just forgot about everything because I did. I mean, you know, our mind sometimes, starts erasing stuff because more information is coming in, or new beliefs, or whatever, or, trauma or PTSD. There's just a lot happening in our brains, especially in our minds. And to be honest, you cannot always just be, you know, like fucking seeing unicorns. I almost said unibrowns. What? Or unibrows. You cannot always just see unicorns and rainbows. It, I mean, life be lifing. But when you stop, when you stop being aware, when you go on to autopilot and you stop being aware of your thoughts and your beliefs, if they changed or whatever has happened, if you don't process it through, and you come back to where you were before, guess what? You are stuck in a new narrative. You're stuck in whatever new energy you got thrown into. It could be like, it could be so many things. It could be grief. It could be heartbreak. It could be just, bro, just problems or just life be lifing. It's like, it's okay to let yourself go through the motions. I will always, always say this: never hold back, never hold back your emotions, never feel like you cannot cry or you cannot feel the feelings of whatever is happening, because you should. You know, you know how energy gets stuck in our body when it's not processed, when it's just pushed down in your being, when it's like, just you push it down, you're like, I can't do this right now. That's how it gets stuck, and that's how a lot of even illnesses get fucking born, because it's like, yep, you just push it down inside of you, and you're like, yeah, yeah, can't do this. And trust me, I know. That's why it's really important to do the freaking work, to continuously. I'm not saying that you have to see this as a fucking new job. You're like, oh my God, Larissa, what are you talking about? Like, I don't have the time right now. Listen, I'm not telling you to do things in this very freaking moment. I'm not. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, you know, life will continuously do its thing. We have to go with it, but also evolve with it, meaning we adapt, you know, as life be lifing, we adapt to it. We adapt how we react, we adapt what is the best way to cope with things, or what is the best way to react to things, or what is the best way to work with certain situations. And that's what is the mental health work in the end. That's what it is, you know, because if we are dedicated to ourselves, to our life, to our heart and soul, that we don't abandon ourselves, like in the longest run. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes it happens. We get off of the horse, we're like kicked off of the horse basically, and we get dragged into things and into energies and into drama and into experiences, and we're overwhelmed. We're in huge state of shock, and we cannot just, like I said, sometimes it just happens. you know there were a lot of situations when I was like in 2020, when I was studying those modalities and getting my certifications. Listen, I was dealing with stress and so many things so fucking good, because I was doing the work continuously, right? But as time went on, and you know I I let it overwhelm me in the long run, and I didn't do the work. Guess what? It almost felt like I became a slug without a house. I got dragged out. I got stepped on, definitely stepped on metaphorically. And I laid there just gasping for air, being like, what the fuck just happened? That's basically how I was, you know? And in the end, I stopped doing the work. I stopped, you know, coping better with situations and with conflicts. I didn't do the work of being like, okay, looking at different perspectives. No, I was basically, it felt like I was battling with life. I was battling everything. I was, you know, there was a lot of things going on, including, like, for example, slander and an attack to my career and so many things. And I was trying my best. And I totally understand, even if you're, for example, if you're in a similar situation, it's completely fine. Do what you gotta do. Take care of what you have to take care of, but remember to come back. To come back to yourself, to who you are, and what you have to do to preserve you, your mental health, your heart, and your soul, because you shouldn't let anyone destroy you and destroy you into tiny pieces to where you're like, oh my god, where the fuck am I? Like, what am I supposed to do? Or like, oh my god, like, how do I get back to? Because, you know, for if you're going on for long periods of time without getting back to who you were and what you were doing, then it's so much harder to get back to it. It's the same as, like, when you're like on a workout kick, for example, and kick lol, and you, I don't know, you, something happens, life be lifing as always. Life be lifing. It's like, that should be fucking merch. I swear to God, life be lifing. I have to write that down. And something happens, and then you stop working out and whatever, and the more time passes by, the harder it fucking gets to get back to it, doesn't it? It's the same with so many things. Like, for example, you quit smoking, you quit smoking, you're doing good, you stop wanting it. But once you start doing it again, it's like it just keeps on going and going and going, and it's hard to fucking quit. By the way, I don't smoke, but just using that as an example. But I know how that is in so many ways. But you can do this. You can get back on track with your mental health. You can do the work. You can start tomorrow. You can start right now, actually. Don't fucking wait for tomorrow ever. Do it fucking right now. Look at your mental health and see where it needs tending. Like, have you been feeling sad lately? Has depression kicked in? Has anxiety been like creeping in for some reason? Look at what is happening beneath the surface. What is your heart trying to tell you? What is the universe trying to tell? What has your spirit guides been trying to tell you, you know, lately, and you've been ignoring it, or not willingly ignoring it, but also maybe willingly ignoring it. You know, look at the whole picture. You can make a list, and look at your situation as a whole and be like, okay, let's do this. Let's start at work and see where we can start. You can do this with like one step at a time. It doesn't have to be huge fucking leaps. It doesn't have to be like, oh, let's fucking overhaul our mental health in one night. Listen, Rome wasn't built overnight. I know it's cliche, I don't give a fuck, but it makes fucking sense. Make it make sense. It's, as long as you keep on going, and as long as you continuously do it, it's okay. It's okay if you have a bad day in between, because again, coming back to that, example of working out, as long as you're doing, even if you have breaks in between, as long as you remember to keep on doing it, then that's all that matters. As long as you don't go into autopilot and totally neglect your mental health, then you're doing freaking good. No, you don't have to do continuous, like, I don't know, shadow work or continuous reevaluation of your entire life and existence and your whatever bad habits and what you've been fucking up every single day or every second of the hour. No. But you can, for example, do a little date with yourself where you check in with yourself every so often. You can write it down. You can mark it in your calendar. You can do like a notification. Oh my god, it's getting late. I'm so sorry. You can set a reminder. Yeah, that's the word, for yourself. You know, or if you don't have to do that, just be aware. Just become aware and just realize that even if you fall off the horse, you can get back onto it. You can. Best believe me, you can. You know, especially dealing with like mental health, especially dealing with, depression or anxiety, it can take a toll on you. Trust me, I fucking know. But as always, if you look at somebody and if they can do it, you can also do it. If I can do it, I know that you can do it too. You know, there's always a way to get back. There's always a way to get out of whatever situation you're in, mentally, physically, whatever it is. You can do this. You can get back on track, back on with the path, back on with your habits, improving things, working things out. You can fucking do this. Ever forgive? You can start anew every single day. Not even every single day. You can start right now. You can start in an hour. You can start in 5 minutes. You can start now. There's always a new beginning that you can start up. So don't think it's ever too late. Don't think that, oh my God, you've neglected your mental health for far too long. You cannot do it. You can. You can. We all fall onto our knees, but we can still get back up, fix our crowns, look in the mirror, and tell ourselves what a fucking badass we are, and not listen to any negativity and any bullshit from anyone. If people are telling you that this is impossible, prove them fucking wrong. You know, I know that's like sometimes, but like a lot of times, it's so hard to do things for yourself. You're like, "Ah, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't." Fucking prove the bitches wrong. Let it be a motivation for you. Like, in the end, the motivation should always be for you. Anything you do in life, it should be for you. Whatever it is to improve your situation with your mental health, it is first and foremost for you. You don't need to do mental health work for anybody else but you, you know? And that's all that matters. But again, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You may feel lost. You may feel like, you swayed off the path. You may feel like a bit lost. Like I said, you may feel like it's hard to get back. It's hard to get back onto that motivation, onto that discipline, you know, onto that basically self care. Because taking care of your mental health is self care. And, if sometimes things just seem so fucking hard, I know they are, or just too much, or just you're like, oh my God, I just can't be bothered to do all of this. Like, I can't be bothered to, blah, 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 blah. Like, the only and most important thing that you can do for yourself is to take care of your mental health. Your mental health, your mindset, that is the most important thing to take care of, because it's the driving force of your life. It's the driving force of your existence, you know? And it's the same with like driving a car. You have to take care of that car. If you, I don't know, get, if something dies in the car, if something stops working, you cannot just ignore it. You cannot just be like, oh, whatever, the brakes are not working. Who fucking cares? Let's just fucking go. No, 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 no. Or whatever it is. If you need an oil change and you ignore it, like it's just gonna spread. It's gonna spread. It's gonna make things worse. But that's how also mental health works. You know, if we neglect a little thing, it turns into a big thing. So it's easier to work on a small thing than into a huge, ginormous thing, because that takes more energy, more time, and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that it cannot be fixed, because it can. Even an entirely broken car can be fixed. Maybe not, but you catch my drift. Speaking metaphorically again, you catch my drift. I hope you do. But best believe me that many people have done this before you, and you can do it too. Even if it's even, listening to some podcasts, some positive podcasts, that's also mental health work. Mental health is taking care of your mental health, or reading a self help book, or listening to one of your favorite motivational speakers, whatever it is. Put that honey onto your soul at all times, frequently, you know, because you deserve it. You deserve that self care. You deserve to take care of your mental health, because you will need it in the wrong run. Yeah, in the long run, you will need it. You need to be strong for this world, and for whatever you're going to bring to the table, to this humanity, because the world needs you. Guys, love you so freaking much, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.